Hello students, we are going to do some more practice with inequalities today. Today what we're going to do is for each of the different pages, I'm going to have you practice it on your own and then I'm going to go over the answers. I have at the top two charts that might help you. One chart is the name of each of the symbols and the other chart is whether or not there be an open circle or a closed circle. Remember, an open circle is for less than, greater than, or not equal to. And we're not even going to really see any examples of that last guy. And a closed circle is for less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or equal to. We're also not going to see any examples of that one. So if it has this little equal sign underline, that's when you color in the circle. So you're welcome to take screenshots of that, use it to help you. But go ahead and pause the video and try to graph these four. Come back when you're ready to go over it. All right, hopefully you're ready to go over it. The first thing that I thought I would do is I would go ahead and put the circles in for each of them. And you don't have to do it this way. You can do the whole problem at once, but I just want to think about the circles for now. The first one has that equal sign underline. X is less than or equal to 0. So I'm going to do a closed circle because of that underline on 0. Your circle must be big enough that somebody could tell if it's open or closed. If no one can tell, it's going to count as wrong. I'm going to do all my circles, get all the circles done with. The next one's going to go on -1, and it doesn't have an underline. X is greater than -1, so I'm going to leave it open because -1 is not a valid solution to it. It can't be equal to -1. The third one I wanted on -5. It's going to be right between 4 and 6 on the negative side. And it is underlined. 5 is a solution. -5 is a solution. So I'm going to color it in. And the last one's going to be on +5. X is less than 5, but it's not going to be colored in because it doesn't have an underline. So check your circles. See if you colored in the correct circles and fix yours if you haven't. The next thing I'm going to do is decide which way the arrows point. One way you could do it is by thinking about it. So on the first problem, it says X is less than or equal to 0. Well, less than or equal to would point this way. And I like to draw my circles like or my arrows, a little bit above the line so my audience could tell clearly where my arrow is. If I were to draw it exactly on top of the line, sometimes it's hard to tell where the arrow is. The other trick you could use is that trick where you look at the symbol and you turn that into an arrow and it tells you which way it needs to point. So this one needs to point to the left. If I use that trick on the next one, so here's my arrow, points to the right. The next one also points to the right. And the last one points to the left. So if you got anything wrong there, make sure that you're fixing that up. All right, let's go to the next page. This page has the answers and you have to come up with the question. So I'm just making this up, but you're going to come up with an inequality like X is greater than 5, something like that. So go ahead and pause the video, see if you can come up with inequalities, unpause when you're ready to go over it. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do to get myself started is I'm going to put my X down for each of these. And then I'm going to put the number that the dot is on for each of these. First one looks like it's on 0, then -1, then -5, then +5. Now I have to decide my symbols. The arrow trick works. Since the first one has the arrow pointing left, I know the symbol's going to look like that, just like the tip of the arrow. And I'm going to decide if I need to underline it later. So this is not my final answer yet. The second one, the arrow points that way. That's the tip of the arrow. So that's the inequality symbol I need. The third one, the arrow points to the right. And on the fourth one, the arrow points to the left. Now I'm going to decide which ones I need to underline. Those would be the ones that are colored in. Colored in the closed circle means that you need to have the or equal to line. So the first one has it and the third one has it. All right, so that page is done. Check your answers. See if you got the same as me. Fix yours if you didn't. All right, last page. Let's read the instructions. It says graph the following inequalities, then give a value for x that makes the inequality true. So I'm going to do the first one with you guys. So here's the problem, and then I have to make my number line. Remember, for the number line, you only need 0 and the number. I'm going to put my circle on 3. And then since it is underlined, it says or equal to, I know I have to color it in because 3 is a solution to the inequality. And now using my arrow trick, it looks like the inequality symbol is pointed to all the numbers that are less than 3. And that symbol is called less than or equal to. It's this one up here. So that makes sense. Then it says give a value for x that makes the inequality true. I can choose any number that would be over here. You only have to pick one number. But some things you might put would be 0 or 1/2 or -5, whatever you want. You only have to put one though. All right, try the rest of the page, pause the video, and come back when you're ready to go over some of these. Okay, so on B, it says the variable must be on the left. So the first thing we have to do is flip it. I'm going to put the x and the -5 in the opposite positions, and then I'm going to flip the symbol. Remember, you always have to flip the symbol too. The alligator mouth has to be eating the -5. All right, so I have my number line, 0 and -5. And I want an open circle on -5 because it's not or equal to. That symbol means less than. So I want numbers that are less than 5, which would be this way. And it works with the arrow trick too. The arrow points that way. You could put infinitely many numbers in the value section, but one number that works is -10. All right, next one, x is not equal to 96. So I have 0 and I have 96. Doesn't matter how far out you have it. Not equal to means that I need an open circle. The not equal to sign is in the open circle column because 96 is not a solution. But the numbers that are not equal to 96 go on both sides of it. It's all the numbers that are bigger and all the numbers that are smaller than 96. So an example of this would be 100, or it could be -100, or it could be 0, but 96 would not be an option. Okay, so you should have the whole page done, but I'm going to leave the last 3 without going over the answers. They should be done on yours though.